In this video, we'll learn where all of the Rhino program options can be accessed and modified. These options can then be saved with your Rhino file or on your computer software installation, so they will remain until later changed. Most of these are personal preferences and will change with the kinds of projects you're working on, with one exception, and that is the nudge setting, one of my least favorite defaults in Rhino. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say we were doing a demonstration to explore some different foot designs, and you wanted to move them around and just see how each one looked. So if you're in software like Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator, you just hit the arrow keys, and they would move into position. Instead, we've got the screen rotating. Not sure why it's doing that. Let's fix it. We're going to go to the Options, under Tools, and now we'll just have the nudge keys be the arrows. So we don't have to hit any other keystrokes. The other thing I'd like you to change is just use some simpler units here. Defaults are always 2 or 0.2. I'm just going to have it 1 unit in the scene. Control and nudge is typically 1/10 of that. And if we hit Shift, we get 10 times as much. It's OK. And now I'll show you how much better this will work, especially when you're making multiple copies or just having lots of geometry that needs to be scooted around. And it's an exact amount. That's the key. So let's say this is the one we decided to go with. So I can hit Shift and arrow, and it pops it right into place. Super handy. Let's go back to some of the options here and just take a quick tour of the layout. So just a note, any changes you make to this top section under Document will stay with your Rhino file. So when you send it to somebody else, those will be maintained. For example, the grid and notes and units will always be identical. The next section, Rhino options, are saved with your installation on your computer. So some of the highlights include the modeling aids we just looked at, and some appearance items like colors. We've already changed this to a white background, but by default, you'll probably have a darker background. So let's take a look at that. So you can see the difference. Let's go ahead and change it back to white. Another thing I recommend changing is under View is the camera lens length. So it defaults to about 50, which is not bad, but I like to have a little bit of an exaggerated perspective so I get better feedback and I feel like I have more control on my design. So that's usually set at 50. Let's pop that at 30. Now that's for the next time. Right now, I've exaggerated a bit. This is a 100mm lens, so everything's kind of flat. You can see the difference. So under Viewport Layout, if we want to change it right now, we set the lens length. Click on that. You can see it's currently 100. Change it to 30. So the lens has actually not moved. It just got a lot wider. So we're going to zoom back in. So the customization of the interface and settings lets you adapt Rhino to your workflow. Except for the nudge setting we discussed first, you probably won't want to change very much of the Rhino defaults. Remember that any changes to settings in the document section are saved automatically with your file. And any changes to the Rhino section are saved to your computer, so those will remain fixed until you change them again manually.